Hey there, everyone. Do you feel nervous or uneasy most of the time? Are you always worried about what might happen even when there's no reason to be? You may be experiencing anxiety. Anxiety is a normal and even necessary part of life. It alerts us to danger, helping us prepare and respond appropriately to threats. However, anxiety becomes pathological when it starts to interfere with our daily functioning. So, if your anxiety is getting in the way of your relationships, work, or school, this video can help you better understand anxiety and what you can do about it. Let's begin. First, let's look at some of the signs of anxiety. The most common physical symptoms of anxiety include palpitations, chest pains, hives, gastric intestinal issues, muscle tension, and sleep disturbances. Some common emotional signs are feeling agitated, having difficulty concentrating, being constantly on guard for danger, and having frequent mood swings. Common behavioral signs include avoiding eye contact, isolating oneself socially, procrastinating tasks, and developing unhealthy habits such as biting nails or skin picking. Now that we've talked about some of the signs and symptoms of anxiety, let's explore some of its causes. Anxiety is often caused by a combination of genetic predisposition and environmental factors. One theory suggests that anxiety is maintained through avoidance of the things that cause us anxiety. For example, if you have a social phobia and you avoid parties because you're afraid of being judged by others, this avoidance will maintain your phobia since you don't have any experience to prove otherwise. Your anxiety can also be triggered by low levels of serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter that regulates our mood. Low levels of serotonin are associated with an increased risk of anxiety and depression. In addition, childhood trauma or abuse can significantly increase one's vulnerability to anxiety disorders. This can occur through learned behaviors or through alterations in brain structure. So now that we know more about anxiety, how can we cope with it? The first step to overcome anxiety is to recognize that it's a problem. If you don't acknowledge that you have an anxiety disorder, you won't take the steps necessary to overcome it. Once you've acknowledged your anxiety, you can begin to challenge your negative thoughts. Negative thoughts often lead to feelings of anxiety. For example, let's say you have an upcoming speech, and you think to yourself, what if I forget what to say? What if I stumble with my words? What if they ask me a question I can't answer? All these questions are based on assumptions and possibilities, not facts. They're also very unlikely to happen. Instead of focusing on these negative thoughts, try to focus on positive outcomes. Think to yourself, I've prepared well. I know my topic inside out. I can do this. By focusing on positive outcomes, you'll reduce your anxiety and improve your performance. Another way to cope with anxiety is to learn relaxation techniques. There are many different techniques you can use to relax, such as deep breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, guided imagery, and yoga. You can find many resources online or in books to help you learn these techniques. Choose one that suits you best and practice it regularly. Learning to relax will help you manage your anxiety in the long run. Regular exercise can also help reduce anxiety. Exercise has been shown to reduce stress hormones and increase levels of mood-boosting neurotransmitters like endorphins. Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise most days of the week. It doesn't have to be anything strenuous. A simple walk can be just as effective. Just make sure to consult with your doctor before starting any new exercise program. Another way to deal with anxiety is to get enough sleep. When you're anxious, your body produces more adrenaline and cortisol, which makes it harder to fall asleep. However, when you don't get enough sleep, your anxiety levels increase. So it's important to find a balance. Try to establish a regular sleep schedule and stick to it as much as possible. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. This will help regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle and make it easier to get a good night's sleep. It's also important to eat a healthy diet when you're anxious. When you're stressed, you may be tempted to turn to junk food for comfort, but this can make your anxiety worse. Junk food is high in sugar, fat, and calories, which can contribute to weight gain and other health problems. Instead, focus on eating healthy, unprocessed foods such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. These foods will give you the energy you need to manage your anxiety and stay focused. It may be helpful to talk to a nutritionist or dietitian to develop a healthy eating plan that works for you. Another way to manage anxiety is to limit your intake of caffeine and alcohol. Caffeine is a stimulant that can increase feelings of anxiety. Alcohol may seem to reduce anxiety in the short term, but it can actually make anxiety worse in the long run. Both substances can interfere with sleep, which, as we mentioned earlier, can make anxiety worse. It may be difficult to quit consuming these substances, especially if you're used to having them on a daily basis. But try to limit your intake as much as possible and see how it affects your anxiety levels. If you're struggling to manage your anxiety on your own, don't hesitate to seek professional help. A therapist can teach you coping skills and help you develop a treatment plan that is tailored to your needs. There are many different types of therapy that can be effective in treating anxiety, such as cognitive behavioral therapy and exposure therapy. In addition, medication may be an option for you. Anti-anxiety medications can help reduce symptoms of anxiety, but they should only be used under the guidance of a medical professional. Let's now move on to some ways to prevent anxiety. One way to prevent anxiety is to learn stress management techniques. Stress is a major contributor to anxiety, so it's important to find healthy ways to manage it. We've already mentioned some relaxation techniques, such as deep breathing exercises and progressive muscle relaxation. In addition, practicing mindfulness and setting realistic expectations can also help you manage stress. Try to focus on the present moment and accept things as they are, rather than worrying about the future. This can help reduce feelings of anxiety and improve your overall well-being. Another way to prevent anxiety is to build a support system. Having a strong support system of friends, family, or mental health professionals can provide you with the emotional support you need to manage anxiety. Don't be afraid to reach out for help when you need it. Talking about your anxiety with someone you trust can help you feel less alone and more able to cope. Finally, educating yourself about anxiety can help you prevent it. The more you know about anxiety and how to manage it, the better equipped you'll be to handle situations that trigger your anxiety. This video is a great place to start, but you can also talk to a mental health professional for more information. The goal is to help you become aware of your anxiety triggers and develop healthy coping mechanisms. The more you learn about anxiety, the better you'll be able to manage it and prevent it from getting worse. In conclusion, anxiety is a normal and necessary part of life, but it can become pathological when it starts to interfere with our daily functioning. By understanding the signs and symptoms of anxiety, as well as its causes, you can take steps to manage and prevent it. Remember that you're not alone and there is help available. By learning to cope with anxiety, you can live a happier, healthier life. We hope this video was helpful. If you found it informative, please like and share it with others who might benefit from it. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching and see you next time.